You've been told these foods are fine in moderation. But what if moderation changes with age? What if the meals you once enjoyed without a second thought, those sandwiches, snacks, or healthy quick bites, now quietly chip away at your energy, your focus, your comfort? The truth is, your body isn't the same at 60 as it was at 40. Your metabolism has slowed. Your digestion has changed, and your cells have become more sensitive to the effects of sugar, salt, and inflammation, which means some foods that used to sit just fine might now be working against you in subtle but powerful ways. And here's the twist. Many of these foods are the ones we've been told are smart choices. Granola that claims to support heart health. Veggie burgers that look like clean plant-based fuel. Energy bars that promise protein and performance. But beneath the labels, many of these products are loaded with refined oils, added sugars, and chemical additives that strain an aging body. They can spike your blood sugar, disrupt your digestion, slow your circulation, and even impact your memory and mood over time. And because they don't always cause an immediate crash, we rarely suspect them. If you've ever left a meal feeling unexpectedly bloated, foggy, or just off, this might be why. And you're not alone. Food marketing has gotten louder, brighter, and trickier than ever before. It's easy to feel confused when a product says natural, but has a paragraph of ingredients you can't pronounce. Or when a light version of a snack ends up being heavier on your body than the original. That's where this video comes in. Today, we're going to walk through 10 foods that may be quietly harming your body, causing fatigue, inflammation, blood sugar spikes, or long-term metabolic stress, especially as you age. But this isn't about restriction. It's not about cutting out everything you love or fearing your favorite treats. It's about awareness. Once you understand what certain ingredients do to your body and why older bodies respond differently, you can start making small changes that bring big results. Because aging isn't about giving up, it's about getting smarter. So if you care about your health, your independence, and your energy, stick around. We'll give you clear, practical swaps for every single food on this list. And along the way, you'll gain something more valuable than any diet plan. Clarity. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. This channel is built for older adults who want straightforward, empowering health advice. No hype, no gimmicks, just real insight from people who care. Let's dive in. 1. Processed meats. Bacon, hot dogs, cold cuts. They're salty, they're convenient, they're familiar. Bacon sizzling in the pan, a quick ham sandwich for lunch, or a few slices of deli turkey wrapped in plastic at the grocery store. Processed meats like these, bacon, hot dogs, cold cuts, have been kitchen staples for decades. And for many of us, they still show up in our breakfast plates, picnic coolers, or lazy day dinners. But what if I told you that behind the comfort and convenience, there's a cost your aging body pays every time? You see, these meats aren't just flavored. They're engineered with added sodium, nitrates, nitrites, and preservatives that help them last longer, taste saltier, and look more appealing. But once they're inside your body, those same compounds become troublemakers. Let's start with sodium. A single hot dog can pack over 500 milligrams, and just 2 slices of deli ham, over 700 milligrams. That's more than 30% of your daily limit in just a few bites. And too much sodium doesn't just make you thirsty. It strains your kidneys, raises your blood pressure, and causes your body to hold on to fluid. Over time, That can put serious pressure on your heart, especially in older adults whose circulation may already be compromised. But it doesn't stop there. Processed meats are also full of nitrates and nitrites, preservatives that give these products their pinkish color and cured flavor. When cooked, especially at high heat like frying or grilling, these compounds can turn into nitrosamines, chemicals that have been linked to cancer. One large review, published in The Lancet Oncology by the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer, found that eating just 50 grams of processed meat per day, roughly the size of a small sausage, increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. That's not a wild amount. That's 1 or 2 slices of bacon every day. Another study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology followed over 134,000 people across 21 countries and found that higher intake of processed meat was associated with a 46% greater risk of cardiovascular disease and a 51% greater risk of death. And here's something most people don't realize. As we age, our body becomes more sensitive to these inflammatory triggers. What used to be no big deal in your 30s or 40s can now fuel joint stiffness, digestive distress, fatigue, and increased risk of disease just from what's on your plate. So, what's the alternative? You don't need to give up meat entirely. You just need to give your body better versions. Try switching to roasted turkey breast, grilled chicken, or even fresh salmon for a nourishing protein that supports heart and brain health without the extra salt and chemicals. And if you're open to something plant-based, lentils, tofu, tempeh, or hard-boiled eggs can be incredibly satisfying and easy to prepare. They're rich in protein, kind to your blood pressure, and free from the inflammatory additives. Miss the flavor of bacon or cured meats? You'd be surprised what a little rosemary, smoked paprika, or garlic can do. Seasoning can be your secret weapon, not just for taste but for health. Because when you shift away from foods that inflame and move toward foods that heal, you're not just choosing a better lunch, you're choosing a better future, one bite at a time. 2. Sodas. The sugar bomb. They're fizzy, they're refreshing. They feel like a little treat on a hot day or a pick-me-up in the middle of a sluggish afternoon. Sodas are everywhere, lined up in vending machines, sitting in our fridges, handed out at family events. But for many older adults, that innocent-looking can is doing more than just quenching thirst. It's sending your body, and especially your blood sugar, into a spiral it can't recover from as easily as it used to. Let's talk numbers. A single 12-ounce can of regular soda contains about 39 grams of added sugar. That's nearly 10 teaspoons in one drink. To put that into perspective, that's more than the daily recommended limit of 25 grams for women and 36 grams for men, according to the American Heart Association, in one serving. And here's the catch. When you drink that sugar, it hits your system even faster than when you eat it. There's no fiber to slow it down, no protein or fat to buffer the impact. Just a flood of glucose straight into your bloodstream. For an aging metabolism, that's a disaster. It triggers a massive insulin release, which your body uses to shove that sugar out of your blood and into your cells. But the more this happens, day after day, can after can, the more resistant your cells become to insulin. That's what leads to insulin resistance, the hallmark of type 2 diabetes. But it doesn't stop there. This cycle also promotes belly fat, raises triglycerides, disrupts your hormones, and creates inflammation that can affect everything from your joints to your brain. Ever notice a crash in energy an hour after drinking soda? That's not your imagination. It's your body trying to cope with an artificial surge and paying for it with a crash that often feels like fatigue, foggy thinking, or sudden cravings. And if you're thinking, I'll just switch to diet, there's another layer to consider. Many diet sodas are filled with artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose. While they don't raise your blood sugar directly, research from the journal Cell Metabolism shows they may still disrupt your gut microbiome and even lead to higher glucose levels over time by altering how your body processes sugar. One study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that women who drank artificially sweetened beverages daily had a greater risk of stroke and heart disease compared to those who didn't. So whether it's sugar-sweetened or artificially sweetened, soda is no friend to an older body. But here's the good news. There are satisfying, delicious alternatives that hydrate your cells instead of stressing them. Start simple. Infused water with slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint. It feels fancy, and it's full of natural flavor without added sugar. Or try unsweetened iced herbal teas like hibiscus or rooibos, both of which contain antioxidants and support circulation. Sparkling water. Add a splash of 100% pomegranate or cherry juice for a little zip without the blood sugar bomb. And if you're craving the feel of soda, look for brands that use natural carbonation and no added sugars or sweeteners at all. You're not giving up pleasure, you're reclaiming balance, so your energy stays steady, your mind stays clear, and your body doesn't have to keep playing defense after every drink. Because hydration should nourish you, not knock you down. 3. White bread. The empty staple. You've probably eaten it your whole life. White bread, light, soft, easy to chew, toasted with butter in the morning, used for sandwiches at lunch, maybe even part of your favorite dinner roll. But here's the thing. White bread isn't what it used to be. And more importantly, your body isn't what it used to be either. See, modern white bread has been heavily processed. During manufacturing, it's stripped of its bran and germ, the parts of the grain that contain fiber, B vitamins, and healthy fats. What's left behind is mostly refined starch, a simple carbohydrate that digests fast and hits your bloodstream like sugar. In fact, on the glycemic index, a scale that measures how quickly foods spike blood sugar, white bread ranks around 75 to 80. That's higher than table sugar, which lands around 65. So even though it doesn't taste sweet, white bread causes the same blood sugar roller coaster, a quick burst of energy followed by a crash. And when you're older, your body's ability to regulate those crashes weakens. Your insulin response slows, your digestion slows, and you may find that an innocent sandwich at noon leaves you feeling foggy and wiped out by 2 o'clock. But it's not just about energy. Over time, those repeated spikes and crashes increase your risk of type 2 diabetes, weight gain, and metabolic syndrome, conditions that become harder to manage as we age. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, people who consume high glycemic foods like white bread regularly have a 37% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those who eat whole grains instead. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up bread. You just have to trade downright empty for nutritionally dense. Try sprouted grain, breads like Ezekiel bread. They contain more fiber, protein, and minerals, and they digest much more slowly. You can also explore steel-cut oats for breakfast or barley wraps and quinoa-based tortillas for your midday meals. Even sourdough, if it's made traditionally, can be easier on blood sugar thanks to its natural fermentation process. You'll still enjoy comforting carbs, But now they'll work with your body, not against it. Because when you choose whole grains, you're choosing steady energy, better digestion, and heart protection in every bite. Have you ever swapped out white bread for something heartier? Let us know in the comments what your favorite replacement has been, or which one you're going to try this week. 4. French fries. A crispy trap. There's something about French fries that just feels comforting. That golden crisp, the salty finish, the warm, familiar flavor that pairs with just about anything. They show up at cookouts, in takeout bags, at restaurants, even right out of the freezer at home. But behind that crispy, golden crunch lies a hidden trap, one that can take a toll on your joints, your blood vessels, and your energy, especially as you get older. Let's start with the obvious: refined oils. Most fries, whether fast food or frozen, are cooked in low-quality vegetable oils like soybean or canola oil. These oils are often reused, overheated, and oxidized, forming harmful compounds your body has to work hard to eliminate. Then there's the sodium. A medium serving of fast food fries can contain over 260 milligrams of salt. And let's be honest, most of us eat more than a medium. Too much salt raises blood pressure, stiffens arteries, and puts extra pressure on aging kidneys and hearts. And the combination of fat plus salt plus crunch, it's designed to be addictive. You crave more, even when you're not hungry. But the real danger most people never hear about? It's something called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are harmful compounds that form when starchy foods like potatoes are cooked at high heat, especially when fried. AGEs promote inflammation, damage collagen in your joints and skin, and contribute to oxidative stress in your cells. According to research published in the journal Aging Research Reviews, high intake of AGEs is associated with accelerated cellular aging, increased risk of heart disease, kidney dysfunction, and cognitive decline, all of which become more concerning as we age. And the problem with French fries isn't just occasional indulgence. It's that they sneak into our meals frequently, disguised as a simple side, but delivering a hit of compounds that push our bodies into overdrive. But here's the good news. You can still enjoy crispy, satisfying bites without the inflammatory aftermath. Try roasted sweet potato wedges. They're rich in fiber, vitamin A, and natural antioxidants. Want something ultra crispy? Air-fried zucchini sticks or green beans give you that crunch without the oil. Or go for lightly sautéed carrots with a sprinkle of sea salt and thyme. They're sweet, savory, and incredibly comforting. These swaps nourish your body while still feeding your cravings. Because aging well isn't about giving up pleasure. It's about choosing pleasure that supports you, not hurts you. 5. Fast food burgers. More than just meat. We all know the feeling. Pulling into the drive-thru, hearing that familiar sizzle, unwrapping the warm burger from its crinkled paper. It's fast. It's filling. And in that moment, it feels satisfying. But here's the thing. It's not just the beef patty. It's the white bun, stripped of fiber and nutrients. It's the sweetened ketchup, the high-sodium sauces, the processed cheese slice with barely any real dairy. It's the fried sides, the preservatives, the stabilizers, the flavor enhancers, all working together to make something taste irresistible, even if it quietly wears you down. Fast food burgers might look like a simple meal, but they're actually a metabolic storm. One large burger combo can contain over 200 calories, 50 grams of fat, and well above 1,500 milligrams of sodium. That's more than 60% of your daily salt limit in a single meal. And most of those fats, they're saturated. The kind that raises your LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, and increases your risk of heart attack, stroke, and artery damage. Let's break it down. The bun spikes your blood sugar. The patty adds saturated fat. The cheese and sauces pile on sodium. And the whole meal, eaten quickly, barely registers with your fullness cues. So it's easy to overeat without even realizing. According to data from the Journal of the American Heart Association, people who eat fast food more than twice a week have a 27% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And a study in Circulation found that frequent fast food consumption increased the risk of coronary heart disease by 56% over a 15-year period. Now, let's be honest. It's not about blaming the burger. It's about understanding how it fits into your bigger picture, your energy, your digestion, your independence. Because when these kinds of meals become habits, they don't just affect your cholesterol numbers. They affect how easy it is to walk upstairs, how well you sleep, how stable your mood feels throughout the day. But here's the empowering part. You don't have to give up burgers to protect your health. Try a homemade turkey burger seasoned with garlic, thyme, and a touch of smoked paprika. Or go for a black bean and quinoa patty loaded with fiber and plant-based protein. Serve it on a whole grain bun with avocado slices, leafy greens, and a little mustard or hummus for extra flavor. It'll still be hearty, it'll still feel indulgent. But now, it's a meal that supports your heart, your metabolism, and your long-term well-being. 6. Donuts. Sugar, fat, equals crash. They sit on the kitchen counter, in break rooms, at brunch tables, in those pink boxes at the end of a church service. Donuts are everywhere. And they're more than just sugar. They're the perfect storm of two ingredients your aging body struggles to handle: refined carbohydrates and deep-fried fats. At first, they feel like a harmless treat, a little sweetness to start the day. Maybe you've even told yourself, it's small, just one. But what happens after that glazed, frosted, or jelly-filled indulgence? Inside your body, that donut hits fast. The refined flour breaks down instantly into glucose, spiking your blood sugar. The fried fat slows your digestion just enough to make the spike last longer, and makes it harder for insulin to do its job. The result? A quick burst of energy, followed by a heavy crash. Brain fog, low mood, cravings for more carbs. And if you're over 60, these crashes don't just throw off your morning, they can disrupt your entire day. You may feel sluggish by mid-morning, a little shaky before lunch, or irritable without knowing why. That's not a personal failure. That's just your blood sugar swinging like a pendulum, responding to a food that was never designed with your biology in mind. In fact, a study in the journal Nutrients found that older adults who consume high glycemic foods like donuts are more likely to report low energy, poor concentration, and disrupted sleep, all tied to unstable glucose levels. And over time, these constant sugar spikes increase your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, weight gain, and even mild cognitive impairment. So if you've felt more tired after a quick breakfast, it might not be age. It might be the donut. But here's the great news. You can still enjoy a sweet, satisfying start to your day without the sugar trap. Try half a banana with almond butter, a perfect mix of natural carbs, healthy fats, and a hint of sweetness. Or reach for plain Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of cinnamon and berries. It's creamy, comforting, and rich in protein, which helps keep your blood sugar steady. These choices don't just taste good, they make you feel good. Clearer mind, steadier energy, better mood. Because real pleasure doesn't come from the sugar spike. It comes from how your body feels after you eat. Which one of these foods has been sneaking into your day lately? Drop a comment below. We read every single one. And if this has helped you rethink even one meal, give it a like to support more senior health content rooted in care, not hype. 7. Processed cheese. Creamy, but compromised. Those little orange slices that melt so easily on toast. Or those individually wrapped squares that make sandwiches feel just a bit more indulgent. They look like cheese. They taste like cheese. But make no mistake, processed cheese is a far cry from the real thing. In fact, many of these popular slices are only required to contain 51% actual cheese to be legally labeled as such. The rest? A chemical cocktail of emulsifiers, preservatives, added colorings, fillers, and a surprisingly high amount of sodium, often 250 to 400 milligrams per slice. That might not sound like much, but stack a few slices on a sandwich, pair it with salty deli meat, and suddenly your lunch could push you over half your recommended daily salt limit. Too much sodium, especially as we age, contributes to high blood pressure, fluid retention, and stiffening of the arteries. It also burdens the kidneys, organs that naturally slow down with age. But here's something you don't hear often. Processed cheese doesn't just fall short, it robs you of the benefits real cheese can offer. Unlike traditional aged cheeses, most processed versions lack key nutrients like vitamin K2, which plays a vital role in directing calcium to your bones instead of your arteries. Vitamin K2 has been shown in studies, like those published in Osteoporosis International, to help reduce fracture risk and improve bone density in older adults. Processed cheese also tends to be low in bioavailable calcium, the kind your body can actually absorb and use to maintain bone structure. So while it may feel like an innocent addition to your meal, processed cheese delivers salt and filler without giving back the nutrients your body truly needs. But here's the bright side. Real cheese, in moderation, can be a nutrient-rich part of your diet. A slice of aged cheddar delivers full flavor and a healthy dose of calcium and K2. A spoonful of cottage cheese gives you protein, probiotics, and barely any salt when you choose low-sodium varieties. And a sprinkle of feta or goat cheese on a salad? Flavorful, satisfying, and far easier on your system. So the next time you're standing in front of the dairy aisle, remember, you don't need to avoid cheese. You just need to choose the kind that serves your body, not just your taste buds. Real food, real nutrients, real benefit. 8. Potato chips. The salty spiral, they're crunchy, they're convenient, and let's be honest, they're incredibly addictive. Potato chips are one of those snacks that somehow disappear faster than we ever plan. A handful becomes half the bag, becomes all of it. And before we know it, we've consumed hundreds of calories without ever feeling full. But the issue with chips isn't just how much we eat, it's what we're eating. Most commercial chips are fried in unstable vegetable oils like sunflower, corn, or soybean oil. These oils are often processed at high heat, oxidized, and sometimes reused, especially in mass production. When consumed regularly, they introduce free radicals into the body, unstable molecules that accelerate cellular aging, raise inflammation, and place extra stress on your cardiovascular system. And then there's the salt. One small bag of chips can contain 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium, and larger servings go far beyond that. Consistently eating high-sodium snacks contributes to high blood pressure, which affects nearly two-thirds of adults over age 60, according to the CDC. It also causes fluid retention and makes your heart work harder, often in silence, until symptoms show up as fatigue, swelling, or dizziness. But there's another layer most people overlook: how chips are designed. They're carefully engineered to hit the bliss point, that magical balance of salt, fat, and crunch that lights up the brain's pleasure center and encourages you to keep eating. There's even a term for it: vanishing caloric density. Because chips melt quickly in your mouth, your brain doesn't register fullness, so you're more likely to overconsume without noticing. And when it becomes a daily habit, the slow creep of weight gain, stomach bloating, and dehydration starts to settle in, not from meals, but from all those little snack moments in between. But here's the upside: you can absolutely satisfy that salty, crunchy craving in a way that actually supports your body. Try roasted chickpeas, packed with fiber, protein, and a satisfying bite. Or crisp up some kale chips at home with olive oil and sea salt. They're rich in antioxidants and surprisingly addictive. Even plain popcorn, tossed with a drizzle of olive oil and your favorite herbs, can offer that familiar crunch without the metabolic fallout. These swaps don't just protect your heart and waistline. They keep you energized, clear-headed, and in control of your choices. 9. Processed and snack foods. Convenience with a cost. They're easy, they're everywhere, and they rarely require a second thought. Crackers, cheese puffs, snack cakes, little bags of convenience that sneak into purses, pantries, glove compartments, and our daily routines. But here's the quiet truth: these processed snack foods were designed for shelf life, not for your health. Behind the colorful packaging and feel-good slogans, these snacks are often filled with refined flours, hidden sugars, industrial oils, and chemical preservatives. Their job is to last longer in a box, not to nourish a living body. And for older adults, that's where the real damage happens. Let's start with refined carbs: white flour, starches, corn-based fillers. These break down rapidly into glucose, spiking your blood sugar and leading to energy crashes soon after. Then come the trans fats, man-made oils used to extend shelf life, but strongly linked to inflammation, clogged arteries, and cognitive decline. In fact, according to the American Heart Association, trans fats are considered so harmful that the FDA has banned them in most U.S. foods, but older products and off-brand snacks may still contain small amounts under different names. And don't forget the flavor enhancers, dyes, and additives, ingredients that confuse your taste buds, dull your hunger signals, and may even disrupt your gut health over time. You might not feel it immediately, but after months or years of reaching for these quick fixes, the toll becomes visible. Sluggish digestion, joint pain, fatigue, and a creeping sense of dependency on snacks that don't actually satisfy. And the most deceptive part: processed snack foods are engineered to mimic real food, crunchy, salty, sweet, without delivering any of the nutrients your body truly needs. But here's the shift: you don't have to give up snacking. You just have to bring it back to real food. Try a handful of walnuts, rich in healthy fats and brain-boosting omega-3s. A hard-boiled egg, easy to prep, full of protein, and satisfying. Or sliced apple with natural peanut butter, a beautiful balance of sweetness, fiber, and healthy fat. These simple options aren't just better for your body, they actually help you feel more awake, more grounded, and more in control, because snacks should nourish, not numb. And when you reach for food that fuels instead of fogs, you're no longer trapped in the cycle of craving and crashing. 10. Alcohol, a subtle disruptor. You might enjoy the occasional glass of wine in the evening, a toast at a family dinner, a small drink to relax after a long day, and that's okay. You don't have to cut it out completely, but here's something most people aren't told clearly enough. As we age, our bodies handle alcohol very differently. Your liver, which processes toxins, naturally becomes less efficient. Your brain, more sensitive to changes in chemistry, may feel the effects of alcohol more intensely. And your metabolism, slower than it used to be, means alcohol stays in your system longer. That's why a drink that once felt mild in your 40s might now leave you groggy, foggy, or off balance the next morning. And the effects go deeper than just a temporary buzz. Even moderate alcohol intake can disrupt your sleep architecture, especially in older adults. You might fall asleep faster, but wake up more often, with less time in deep, restorative sleep. It also affects blood sugar control, causing unpredictable highs or lows, particularly in people managing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. And then there's the issue of medications. As we get older, we're more likely to be taking prescriptions, whether for blood pressure, cholesterol, pain, or mood. Alcohol can interact with many of these meds, sometimes in subtle ways that make them less effective, or dangerously amplify their effects. So no, it's not just about drinking less. It's about drinking wisely with more intention, more awareness, and more respect for what your body truly needs now. Here's a healthier approach. Reserve alcohol for special occasions, the birthdays, the toasts, the moments that matter. And when you do drink, pair it with food to slow absorption and stay hydrated. A glass of water for every glass of wine. You can also explore non-alcoholic options that still feel relaxing. Try alcohol-free red wine, which still contains polyphenols that support heart health, or herbal tonics like chamomile, tart cherry, or rooibos teas that calm your system and help you unwind without the metabolic stress, because you deserve to feel your best the morning after. Not foggy, not off, not regretful, just balanced, energized, clear. Have you found a favorite alcohol-free ritual that helps you relax? Share it in the comments. We're collecting feel-good habits that support energy and clarity at any age. So what did we learn? It's not just about cutting out junk food. It's about understanding how your body changes with time, and how even everyday foods can either support your energy or quietly drain it. We covered 10 foods that may seem harmless, some even labeled healthy, but for aging bodies, they can trigger inflammation, spike blood sugar, mess with digestion, or just leave you feeling off. French fries, white bread, processed meats, sugary drinks, snack foods, engineered for shelf life, not for real life. But here's the good news. Small swaps make a big difference. Switching soda for sparkling tea, processed cheese for a slice of real cheddar, or crackers for a handful of walnuts. These aren't sacrifices, they're upgrades, ones that help your body work better, think clearer, and feel more vibrant with each passing year. So if you're wondering what to do next, try replacing just one of these foods this week. Not all 10, just one. See how your body responds. You might be surprised how much better you feel, even after a few days. Drop a comment and let us know. Which one are you going to start with? We read every single reply, and your story might inspire someone else to take that first step. If this video helped you, give it a like. Share it with someone you care about. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Because this channel is here to help you stay informed, empowered, and in control of your health. One video at a time. We're in this together. Thanks for watching.